I think the Lord just had it in his plan to, rush through this and have it, come out so quickly. But I was so ready for it too. And I think that me and my family, just as a unit, like I said earlier, we've just been very blown away by how God has done this so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's been so much fun. I mean, I just graduated high school in 2020. So to be, living in Nashville on my own and doing music full time and traveling the country, it's a dream come true.
Her manager comes out. And what happened?
I was told that I was nominated for 6 Dove Awards. Insane.
So there's going to be this always forever kind of real great memory about being at a TBN studio.
I know.
Yeah, right?
So true.
Right. Like, oh my God.
We're always going to remind you.
Every time I come to a TBN studio, I want an award.
Something wonderful happens.
All right. So the Dove Awards will be on the air this year, right here, exclusively on Trinity Broadcasting. And
watch it all.
Since you're nominated for 6, I'm sure you'll be there.
Yes.
And the chances of winning one is like one in, you're a math person. What's the chances of you winning? Oh, yeah, you gave that up for singing.
Yes, I did.
Okay, I won't put you on the spot. All right, so let's talk about My Jesus, okay? When you go from being a math, were you a nerd?
No.
You weren't a nerd?
I wasn't a nerd.
Like the whole glasses and the
Guns.
thing? Okay.
You had them at Guns, by
Okay,
the
but
way.
you were a total math person, right?
Yes, I loved it. It was fun.
So when you kind of converted over and you started, let's say, moving into the area that you are less talented in, you said that you were not really into,
Smithing.
English. Thanks for the help in English right then, because I was searching for that word. So when did you start writing this? What did it come from? Kind of walk us through that amazing song that we just enjoyed together.
Yeah, thank you. So right after I started working with my manager, I started writing songs and, being put into co-writing sessions with 2 or 3 people and learning how does a song come about? How does a song, how's a song written and all that kind of stuff. So right after my brother passed away, I started to journal, and I basically just used it as a tool to get my thoughts out on paper and to process the loss of Jacob. And I wanted to prove to myself that I was gonna survive the tragedy. In the moment, it felt so hopeless. And there's still times it does to this day of moments that I just wanted to give up and just go and be with Jacob in heaven. Like me and my family both, we all together as a unit would have really, really hard days. And so I wanted to prove to myself that God would really get me through. I knew he was gonna be faithful and that he was gonna give us what we needed to get through. So I would journal every day, and I would, write down the day and write down all that happened. And then I would say at the end of each day that my Jesus brought me through another day. And so flash forward about a couple years later, I started going back through my journals, just kind of reflecting on all that God had done. And I noticed for the first time ever that I'd only ever referred to the name of God as my Jesus, no other name. Wow. And I was just kind of like, what is this? I've never in my life, written my Jesus. I wasn't even thinking about it, conscious of it at all.
Yeah.
And I remember praying and asking God, I was like, Lord, why is it that I've only ever written my Jesus? And I remember him speaking back to me and saying, Ann, it's because it's the truth. I am yours and you are mine. And we have a personal relationship with each other. And I just remember having chills when he spoke that to me and knowing that there was something there. So a couple days later, I go into a songwrite with that title. I'd only written with Matthew West one other time. We were not like friends yet. I was very starstruck. I looked up to him a lot. I was like a big fan
I'm not
of him.
really friends with him either. He's kind of hard to know and kind of hard to,
You better be careful.
he's difficult,
I know.
challenging person. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, he's the best.
He's the best.
So we wrote together, and him and Jeff Pardo, good friends, they were like, Ann, we have this idea that we thought we would run it by you. It's called My Jesus. And I was like,
What?
Oh my goodness. they had no idea my story, like that I had found my Jesus in the journal and that meant something to me. They had no idea.
Oh my goodness.
And I was
didn't
like,
know that.
well, I came in with this title too, My Jesus.
My Lord.
Let's write a song about this. And so we started writing it, and it just
Okay, that was a bigger moment than that.
Yeah.
Did they freak out too?
they freaked out.
Yeah.
They were like, this is crazy. This is a God moment,
sure.
But as songwriters, you never know what you're getting out of a song, right? Like you could think it's the best song ever and no one likes it. And so it's just something that
This is for me.
Tell me about it.
Yes.
We could think we just did the greatest broadcast, and it's like, okay.
yeah, so that you totally get it. It's like
Yeah.
you think something that it's not. And so we thought this is going to be a great day, and it was, and ended up obviously being the song that it is. So we wrote the song, loved it, felt the Lord all over it. It's if you listen to it and you read the lyrics, it's all about having a relationship with Jesus and a personal relationship and knowing him intimately and knowing, that you have this just relationship with him, that you can speak to him at any time of the day. And it's not just this proper relationship, but it's a real relationship with your Father in heaven. And so we wrote the song, and then we ended up writing another song that day too. It's called No Place Like Home. It's on my record, which was really crazy. We wrote that song in 10 minutes. It was just a crazy day. And I remember leaving the write, and my manager called me, and he was like, hey, Ann, like what do you rate this song on a scale of 1 to 10? Because we had this rating system that we would do. And I was like, I think it might be like a 4.5 or a 5, but like, it's not that good of a song, but I think it's a good message.
I love that.
And so I didn't think anything of it. And that was my rating. And I was like, this is just going to be a great song, but did not think it would be a single or anything. Then about 4 months later, as we were starting to, work through the process of releasing my very first single, I had no music out prior to this. And everyone around me was like, Ann, My Jesus, it has something so special about it. It's going to reach so many people. And so sure enough, we released it in April of 2021. And within 2 days, it had like 9 million views on Facebook.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
absolutely blew up all over the internet. People were just sending in testimony after testimony of this song changed my life. And it continues to do it now. And it's, it's been a year and a half. And so that song has changed so many lives. And in my mind, I didn't think that it would ever come close to doing that. I just was excited that I could have a song out that would go to radio and that I could listen to my own music in the car. Like that was what I was excited about. So it was very surreal to see how the song has blown up and how God has used it to impact so many lives.
Jesus says, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men. That song will be drawing men to him.
Yes.
Forever.
I know.
Until he comes again.
So special.
It's beautiful.
My goodness.
It's beautiful.
I remember Ann sitting in this studio with Michael W. Smith. I mean, it was just a few feet from where we're sitting right here. And he almost said the exact thing you just said, which was, people send me, music and ask me to tell them what I think about it. He said, I don't even know how to rate my own music, much less. And he has that same thing. What we think about one thing is going to be an important song or a big song or whatever, or a far-reaching song. Yeah. And it'll just surprise you.
Yeah.
We say we can't tell Jesus what success looks like.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I love what you said about, and if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. So your song by itself, by the nature of what it's saying, you're not drawing people. Jesus himself is drawing people to him. He's using that song in that way, and I experience the same thing. Sometimes we do an episode that we think is going to be, and then you hear about something completely different. It reverberates differently. Okay. So let's kind of rehearse just a touch, because what it feels like is you might win an award in addition to everything else you've won of having the Lord do a quick work in you. You're standing in the living room, arguably on the worst day of your life, and the Lord's voice starts the process of correcting it.
Yeah.
A few days later, nervous and at your brother's funeral, the Lord does another quick work with his voice to call you into what you're currently doing, and your first album debuts at #1. it feels like something's up. What do you think is up?
Honestly, God, just like what you said, God is just moving very quickly in my life. And I don't know if it's that this message needs to be out right now for this world. I think that's probably a big part of it. I think that God also used my tenderness and brokenness of losing my brother right in that moment and wanted to kind of immediately have that reaction happen, and immediately have me start writing songs. Because right after Jacob passed away, things started happening so quickly. And so then I started writing songs, and all of my songs were just about the loss of my brother. And it was the fresh pain. Like I just had lost him, just had gone through the tragedy. And now I have my record out, I'm writing for another record, and it's a completely different message. The next record is completely different. It's about different things, because my first record was so heavily focused on the loss of my brother and what it's like to walk through that. And so I think the Lord just had it in his plan to, rush through this and have it, come out so quickly. But I was so ready for it too. And I think that me and my family, just as a unit, like I said earlier, we've just been very blown away by how God has done this so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's been so much fun. I mean, I just graduated high school in 2020. So to be, living in Nashville on my own and doing music full time and traveling the country, it's a dream come true. And it is a dream come true because I get to share Jesus with people. I wouldn't do it for any other reason.
At TBN, our mission is to use every available means to reach as many individuals and families as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thank you for helping make the gospel of grace go around the world.
Without you, we couldn't do it. God bless you.